This is doing a video here on replacing my bushings and Endlinks. It's a little bit windy out today, so you might hear some whirling around. My bushings located for the rear Swaybar are here, and of course the other one is right over there on the far side. Endlinks are, are right here, and same for the other side. So before I get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some liquid wrench to spray some of these bolts, just because they might be a little tight coming off and I don't want to damage anything, and just to be sure I don't have an actual set for the bushings. I've just got the actual bushing itself. It's a Moog bushing for the my car is a 2002 626 LX. So I'm going to do a little spraying and then let it soak, and then I'll come back. Okay, well, I sprayed them down. It's going to take some kind of force, depends on your vehicle, to get those things off there. Pain in the ass. My size is 14 millimeter on the ratchet set. The Endlinks are giving me more trouble than I anticipated, so I just sprayed them again. I'm going to let them soak for a while longer, and hopefully they'll come off. Here's my bushing that I have, that I ordered, the Moog bushing. As you can see, it separates right there in the middle, so you can put it on there.
I can't find that model online for sale anywhere.
Okay, so I finally got everything off. It was a real pain in the ass because two of the links came off, two of the bolts I should say for each of the links came off okay. The other two were stripped, so I had to cut them off with a hacksaw. But I got them off, and now I'm going to be using some grease to install the stabilizers with, the Endlinks, and get both of those on there, and I'll put up some information when I'm done. Okay, I've got the new Endlinks put up here. I put a little bit of the liquid wrench on it just to maybe help out with the installation of the nuts in case they had problems, because I had so much difficulty getting the other ones off. Maybe it helps a little, maybe it doesn't. I've got some grease here for the bushings. Just got some generic Valvoline GM European and Japanese vehicles for multi-purpose grease. This one is lithium based. When I was doing some research on it, they said basically to try to use lithium grease and not petroleum based grease, something to that nature. So anyway, this is about $3.99 at AutoZone. Plenty of grease for what I need, and then maybe some projects in the future. So I'm just going to add some of that grease to the bushings and put them on the stabilizers here, the stabilizer bar, and then attach them up there, and then I'm going to try to fasten these guys up. So we'll see how it goes. You can install the stabilizer bar backwards. When you are doing it, make sure that it looks like this, where that indentation is on a downslope. And or you can just measure it by when you move it to make sure that it goes. Let me get a better angle here. Comes off. So that it goes all the way right up there. Before I had tried it, and the brackets wouldn't fit, so it's just because I had the stabilizer bar on backwards. Just a little tip. Is one of these multi-connection ratcheting wrenches. Just because getting to this bolt that's up here behind, you can't get to it with the socket set because of this bar right here. It just prevents you from getting access to it. So one of these guys is really handy for getting back up here and putting that on that bolt. Get the right direction there. And tightening that up there. So just another tip. Okay, so I've got the bushings installed. You might be able to see some of the grease right down here, just to keep everything's all nice and tight. Now what you should see when this is all done is your stabilizer bar should not move at all. It shouldn't sway left to the right, and it shouldn't go forwards and backwards. The problem I had with mine was that I grab a hold of this bar, I could shake it, and you could hear it thudding against the car, which might explain what a lot of people hear, that sounds like books or plywood inside your trunk when you're driving around and you hear that thudding noise. That's this bar that's going up and down when you run over bumps. So with it like this and new bushings, it should fit really nice and tight and grab onto that bar so it doesn't sway at all. Okay. The secret to Endlinks, in my opinion, is having one of these ratcheting wrenches and your standard 5mm hex. Now, you can't use a socket on these when you're tightening them and loosening them because there's a little hex right in the middle here that keeps you from putting a socket on top of it, which would cover that little hole so you can't put your hex in, which is where these ratchets come in really handy. 14mm. Set it in there. Get it set on. I think I got the rest of it. Yeah, that's right. And start your ratchet. Now your hex is going to keep this Loctite little mechanism here from spinning and allow you to turn that nut. Otherwise, if you don't have this hex in there, it's just going to free spin, and you'll see the entire bolt itself just sit there and spin as you're turning it if you don't have this hex inside. Okay, here's one of the old links. Basically, you can see where I hacksawed one of these ends off here just because I couldn't get it to go come off. This one came off fine, same thing with the other one. This project I originally planned it to last about an hour. It took about 3 or 4. All the parts I got were moved just because they seemed to be pretty inexpensive and pretty decent quality. My recommendation is if you're gonna try to do this project, then make sure you set yourself some time aside, just because you're going to run into problems where probably these end links are going to be a real pain to get off, and you don't necessarily have to jack up your car in order to replace them, but you might have to if you need to remove some stubborn end links, just because you need to get some different leverage. And I found it a little easier when the ones that stuck, I had to get in there and really put some torque on it, and I couldn't do it just laying underneath the car. Normally I could just lay underneath the car if there weren't going to be any problems. I wouldn't have to remove or put the car up on jack stands. If I was just doing the bushings, it's an easy job. Undo the bolts, put the new bushings in, grease them up, and that's it. You shouldn't need a jack for that at all. But if you're doing end links on top of that, then definitely you might have to jack the car up as a precaution. So that's about it. As far as tools go, make sure you get that ratcheting wrench, a 5mm socket, some grease, some liquid wrench. I recommend also, even though I tried it and it didn't really work for me necessarily removing these end links because I had to hacksaw them off, I still recommend it because I might have had to hacksaw all 4 threads off. I don't know. So that's just my recommendation, is try to get some penetrating oil, whether it's liquid wrench or some other product, to let it sit there for about 5 or 10 minutes and then try to take them off. And I even did a second application of it, and it still didn't make a difference on some of those bolts. They just they're either going to end up stripping out the interior in here, like well, I can't show you, but it stripped out the interior on some of these, but those are the ones I had to cut off. That'll be probably the issue you're going to run into, is it's just going to strip, and you're just going to have to cut them off. So hopefully you don't have to. And that's my tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it.